The Ford F-150 Lightning promises to be the truck that changes everything. But can it really replace America's favorite gas-powered workhorse, or really any truck at that? Today, we're putting the hype to the test. From towing, payload, and real-world range, comfort, and interior tech, and whether this all-electric pickup has what it takes to convince loyal gas truck owners to finally make the switch. This is the truth about the Ford F-150 Lightning. Is it the future of trucks or just another flashy experiment? Let's find out. Don't be fooled. We've got 15 months of electric truck ownership underneath our belt, and after that, we've owned two Ford F-150 Tremors back to back, so we're in a great position to do all the talk that we need to cover to really know whether the F-150 Lightning is going to be right for you, whether you should consider buying this, or if this is just a little tech experiment and another little plaything. So let's get down to business. Let's put the pedal to the metal and jump right in. All right, so let's check out the capabilities. So definitely feeling the bumps more than on the Tremor. A Tremor or an F-150 Raptor is really built to absorb the bumps at low and high speeds. It's an off-road machine. But this is gonna be, if you get a Lightning, you might more likely be a city driver. People out in the country don't have quite as much access to chargers. The access isn't as easy as in the city. Now, of course, that doesn't really matter if you're doing shorter distances, if you're not doing extremely long distances, and you're mostly able to charge from home, as I am. So an electric truck is perfect for me. It works out to about two times per year. I need more mileage to get me to the airport, but I can even get to the airport and back almost on the same battery. And that's where I get the little annoyance. The 2 times per year that I go to the airport, I am gonna have to stop somewhere. Plan to stop at a fast charger. Now in my region, there's a lot of them, so it's no big deal at all, but I'm pretty impatient and I don't like to wait. I also personally like the sound of engine and exhaust to the point where I want to put on the little kind of blow-off adapter to get that blow-off sound off my 3.5 liter EcoBoost. But this is really comfortable. If you have a summer car to make a bit of sound with, or a secondary vehicle, this is a great daily vehicle. Let's shoot up road. Let's see how we get up on it. A little bit of noise from the suspension, and definitely some feel. You can definitely feel the suspension, you feel the road. So this electric vehicle doesn't feel, fake. You still feel connected to the road, and that's important. Of course, the steering is an electronic power assisted steering. So some people complain, sports car enthusiasts will sometimes complain and say, I don't really feel the road. Well, you feel the road through the suspension. You still feel it oddly because the whole platform is moving. I'm still feeling a bit of the road in the steering wheel. No vibration from the steering wheel, nothing negative to say, but because the whole vehicle is moving when we go over these cracks and bumps, I still feel connected to the road. And let's see right here. Let's say we were to give it a little bit of gas. That wasn't even to the floor, and we got to a very nice speed very quickly. Now we're gonna be, this is important. I always test acceleration, and sometimes people say, well, no, that's not really real daily driving. Well, here's an example. To a road where there's cars often coming. It's hard to get onto this road. And imagine if we were turning left, we'd have to watch out for both lanes. There's almost constant traffic. And sometimes often, you need acceleration for safety. And this has got acceleration in spades. Now we've got the adaptive cruise control, the lane centering. So to turn on the adaptive cruise control, just like any cruise control, hit the button, then set your speed, and then set the distance you want to follow the traffic. Don't hit that button, that'll take off the lane centering. And the lane centering is very helpful because I love the lane centering from Ford because it does just little micro adjustments. So you don't really realize how much it's helping. You don't really feel like it's helping at all. You feel like it's all you, that doing the work. It really feels like you're doing everything, but in reality, it's doing most of it. If you do start to go over a line, the vibration isn't too intrusive, it's not distracting, it doesn't cut out the radio. So the technology on this, Ford's really nailed it. Ford has the best or second best driver technology, driver aid technology on the market. And I say maybe second best because everyone who owns a Tesla and a Ford that I know, either in the comments or in the real world, has said that the Ford is better on the highway than the Tesla, because that's when Blue Cruise can kick in and it essentially is self-driving. However, the Tesla will take you from your address to another address, trying to do the self-driving the whole way itself. So not just highways, but then it's less good in the highways. It cuts off more often in the bendies. So going into a bendy like this, and often, you know, in different bendies or roundabouts, the Tesla is going to make you grab the steering wheel. And here, because when I took my hand off the steering wheel, that's why it beeped. It said, put your hand back on the steering wheel. But it has no problem whatsoever on the roads, keeping itself centered. So extremely good technology, very comfortable suspension, but we do feel the bumps more. And to note, Fords do work. They're work trucks, so the suspension needs to be a little stiffer. So the suspension is definitely less absorbent. You know, you feel the bumps more than, let's say, a Ram, but some Rams have as low as just under 1,000 pounds of payload. That means, like our friend from pickup trucks and SUVs, Tim Esterdale said, that's you know, if you got 4 guys at 250 pounds, you've technically legally broken your payload of, you know, 900 and some odd pounds. So not touching the pedals at all. Now it's following the slower track. And even your Ram 1500s, your classic models, well, they've got a payload of 1,400 and, you know, some dust bunnies, basically 1,400 pounds of payload. Still, if you're 4 guys, that leaves you 400 to 500 pounds of payload for the back. If you're pulling 10,000 pounds hooked underneath to the hitch underneath the bumper, hooked there, usually you transfer roughly about 10%. So you're gonna be transferring, as a rule of thumb, 1,000 pounds. You really only have the legal payload. You can only have a driver on the classic model and some of the new models. That means you can't have a driver. You've already busted your limit with your 10,000 pounds. So you can't legally pull 10,000 pounds in a lot of Rams. Now, the F-150 Lightning has no issue with that. Actually, it's very impressive. We've done towing tests on the channel, and we had payload of just under 2,000 pounds in the back, big concrete stones, blocks, and next to no effect on the autonomy, the range. The range essentially was not affected. Very impressive. However, when we pulled a trailer with 4,000 pounds in it, and we had about 5,000 pounds total at that point, about 1,500 pounds in the bed, 5,000 pounds behind us on a trailer. Well, then the trailer caught in the wind and we lost about 50% of our range when we were driving at roughly 5 to 7 degrees outside. So unfortunately, whether you're at 5 degrees or -5 below freezing, it's got a similar range. The range is affected. So towing in the winter, if you plan on taking snowmobiles out in a closed trailer, you're not going to get very far towing those snowmobiles in a closed trailer. But other than that, that's the weakness of the vehicle. It's not quite as comfortable as the Tremor in regards to suspension, but it is more comfortable when it comes to noise deadening because, well, it's really silent. Really silent and comfortable inside. So if you're driving through the city, all the, you know, the sirens, the city noise, the traffic, people constantly honking when they shouldn't be, you're going to be protected from that. It's a great vehicle. It feels like, we could call it a luxury truck. And I'd say buy the Lightning if you want a luxury truck, if you want comfort. And even the XLT, very comfortable. Now this Flash has heated seats, heated steering wheel, does not have the cooled seats like a Lariat. So that's one of the little things. It doesn't have the roof. But overall, I'm extremely happy and extremely pleased with the week that I have spent in this Ford F-150 Lightning Flash 2025 model year. And if you're thinking of holding off because you're saying, hey, 2026 should give us a new gas or electric F-150, I'd say you'd be wrong on that. Buy one and enjoy roads like this ASAP, as soon as possible, because we're not getting a new gas-powered F-150 almost certainly until 2028, and for a new electric F-150 we're probably looking at 2027, 2028, or who knows what will happen, because Ford has discussed the new, the Model T moment is that we're getting a new platform that's going to be taking on a small electric pickup under 30,000 US, so about 40,000 Canadian, likely, as well as an SUV, a 5-seater SUV, and possibly, I think, a 7-seater SUV. So let's wait to see how that all shakes out. But I do recommend this vehicle, except I don't recommend it to those of you that like to switch every 2 to 3 years, or even some of us, like myself, change every year. If you're a very quick switcher of vehicles and you can't stand having a vehicle for more than 2 years, and you don't, you really dislike depreciation, this isn't the truck for you. But if you're going to keep it for the length of your 3 or 4 year lease, this is a fantastic choice. Or if you really want to hold on to this and put 400,000 kilometers, let's say 300,000 miles on a truck, I think this is an excellent option, because you're going to save so much in fuel. You can really start to bank away. It used to be tough to decide to pick an electric truck, because you're like, well, I'm going to spend an extra $300-400 per month over a gas-powered truck, but I'm going to save, some people were saving between $500, even $1,000 a month in fuel. That's gone. These are the price of a gas-powered, so everything you spend on gas becomes essentially a saving. Well, roughly, if you can charge at home, roughly you'll pay 1/10 of what you're paying in fuel. So tons of savings available. That's my way to save you thousands. So don't be fooled by what people tell you. This has been an unbiased review and unbiased information. Nothing over the top to get me extra money through views. No exaggerations. I'm giving you the real deal here, as I put the pedal to the metal to vehicles every week. So please do like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. And the one favor I ask of you is please do hit that like button so that YouTube can promote this material. I don't want to do like some and be excessively controversial, and at times, they can say, oh, well, that was my opinion, but they're being so controversial that some people know that they're saying things that aren't, fully correct or completely the truth, but they're running it under their opinion. But they know controversy is what gets the clicks. Help us out to get some clicks. Hit the like button. Until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal in a car that you love sometime real soon. Godspeed and God bless everyone. Have a great week. Stay positive, be kind, and keep putting in the hard work, everybody. Good luck.